So it's happened. Skydance officially buys Paramount, or i.e., National Amusements, 11% stake of Paramount, but it's a controlling interest of 77%. And that's because back in 2008, Sherry Redstone and her father, Summer Redstone, was in debt, and they sold about 400 million of non-voting shares. So it's non-voting shares, but it's a 77% stake, but they control that 77% stake. Anyways, but Skydance bought it. Her shares is probably worth about 32 million shares. It's probably worth about, that's why it's 11%. It's probably worth around maybe 400, 500 million, maybe $800 million. But she sold it for $1.75 billion. And then he also, Skydance or David Ellison, would invest 1.5 billion into reduced their debt, and then he put another $4.5 billion sweetener to keep the non-voting shares and their voting share members happy by buying the stock. So if you are non-voting shares, the current shares of Paramount is $11.09. But he says, I'll give you $15.25 for those shares if you want to sell them to me. And then if you have voting shares into Paramount, he's going to give you $35 a share. And that's if you want to sell it. Or you can decide to just, roll it into the new company. So he doesn't actually own Paramount outright. He just owns the controlling interest. So he would have his 11% and control 77% and have his partner. So he can install his own president and CEO, which probably could be Jeff Snall, who previously worked over at NBC Universal. So he can install his guy, and he would be the chairman, CEO of Skydance Media, which, much like Sherry Redstone, she was the CEO and chairman of National Amusement. Her father, Summer Redstone, was as well too. But they had CEOs, president CEOs of Paramount Pictures, or Paramount Corporation, Paramount Global. So yeah, I mean, this is exciting. I like this ideal. It's Skydance had already had a co-finance, co-production arrangement with Paramount. They did the Mission Impossible movies with Paramount. They did the Top Gun Maverick. They did so many other movies. So they already had a relationship. So it's, like, some of the people at Paramount know Skydance. So now Skydance is just running it. And I feel like they're better situated to be the bosses, where I think Summer Redstone and Sherry Redstone, they, you go all the way back to 87, 88, they had financial troubles, and they were splitting the company, Viacom A and Viacom B, and they did, put CBS and, and the Paramount Television in one, and the Paramount Pictures, and so they did a split, and then they turned that into CBS, and then they had Viacom CBS merge. They sold shares. They were always financially playing that game. So I feel like this is more stable. As one person once cited in the trades, that David Ellison is not a bean counter. He's a creative driving force. He likes movies, and so I think this is going to be a good fit. They definitely see Paramount Pictures and Paramount Plus as a driving force. So the deal is expected to finalize, early 2020-25. So probably within 6 months. But it's happening. They inquiring. Initially, you heard a lot of talks about, are they buying? Before they thought, well, maybe we could buy the whole company, full, like multi billions of dollars. But then they would have to be like, if you watch Succession, season 4, they talk about you have to have shareholder meetings, and sign that off, and some people didn't want it. They thought it was they'd be selling it too short. And then they wanted them to take offers from other companies. So Skydance basically, they let that offer expire. Other companies like Sony, Edgar Brockman Jr., at Seagrams, they all wanted to come in and they all wanted to buy the company. But they made offers. I think Byron Allen made an offer, but none of them were right because they all basically said we want to strip it down and sell it for parts. That's why I think David Ellison, the Skydance offer is very interesting because they want to run this as a company. So it's probably going to look the same except for new owners running it, and he's agreed to put about almost $10 billion into Paramount Global, CBS, Simon Schuster, Paramount Plus, and Paramount Pictures, Paramount Television, reinvest into the market. He also has a great relation. Skydance Media makes films and videos for the NFL, so they have a great partnership with the NFL. So who knows? They might acquire the Super Bowl rights to the NFL games and Super Bowl playoff games. That could be great, adding on for more content for Paramount Plus. You saw before the last few months, Sherry Redstone had them pull all the archives, like Comedy Central had all their episodes on the website, and you can go back and watch all the old, like the Daily Show and all that stuff. Then they pulled it all and put it up behind the paywall. It's on Paramount Plus. Which is kind of smart. I mean, you had all the stuff on the websites. Who goes to websites to watch content? So they just pulled them all and put them all on Paramount Plus. So it's I think this is going to be a really great deal, and I'm excited for Skydance buying Paramount because I didn't like the idea of Sony buying it because with Disney buying Fox, and Fox is not really Fox anymore. It's just, and it's sad that, I guess it's there. I always hope that Disney would be in so financial stress that they would sell Fox, at least to Google, and then you can merge YouTube and 20th Century Fox, or something like that, that I think would be fantastic. Or Apple can buy 20th Century, it's like, I don't know, like, I guess I would rather, I know some people don't like big tech buying these media companies. Versus, but to me, I'm like, but in the 80s, you saw big corporations buying these new media companies. So I'm like, what's the difference? And I guess some people have an argument that big corp versus big tech. Big corp is just it's about shareholders, how much money you can make, and blah blah blah, and where big tech is about, they want to get into our minds and control us. I don't know. I'm just saying, I think Skydance Media is going to be good for Paramount Pictures. Because it's, yeah, it's interesting because his sister owns A24. I know they had to deal right now with, Warner Brothers and HBO Max, but I was like, when that deal expires, I wonder if they would bring her into it and say, hey, we have Paramount Vantage, which is our independent version of the studio. Partner the Paramount Vantage and A24. You let her run, make all this independent content through Paramount Vantage. Like, here's a budget, go have at it, and then it's like all in the family, So Skydance buys National Amusements, 77, controlling 77%, but an actual 11% stake in Paramount Global. And so Sherry Redstone's out. She's out. She sold out. She sold the theaters. She sold her entire company. So she, for $1.75 billion, and so she's out. Has no theaters, no companies, nothing. She's out, and that deal is expected to close by 2025. So this is a very exciting time. What happens next? I know Microsoft is anxious to buy a company. So do they? They were looking at buying Warner Games. So do they buy Warner Discovery? Who knows, right? Does Disney looking for a partner? Do they want to sell, 20th Century Studios and to Google? Who knows, right? Does Apple want to buy something? Who knows, right? So should be interesting. And so I'm out. So if you like this, like or subscribe. If you want more content like this, please comment, like, subscribe. Tell me what things you want to do. Okay, I'm make it more concise, and I'm not trying not to talk too much about broad subjects that have long videos. I'm trying shorter videos is probably better.